Welcome to P3 Radio.
The monkey only dances as good as the guy grinding the organ handle.
Demolition, we're coming for you, baby.
That was my moment of I carried a watermelon.
And if you're going to call me back tomorrow, whatever, I mean,
You better believe I took my turn a little bit.
What?
cool story, bro.
PG3 Radio.
Here's your host, Josh Bradley.
Ladies and gentlemen, next up we have crying little blind children.
Richard Mullican.
I don't know. Is this making any sense to anybody out there?
It's showtime! It's showtime! It's showtime!
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of P3 Radio. I am Richard Mullican, joined by my co-host and best friend, Josh Briley. Say hey, Josh.
Richard, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart and everybody listening right now, I am so happy that we have made it to 97 episodes.
I don't think we're quite to 97 yet, Josh.
I'm so happy we've made it to 79 episodes. It's been great.
No, I think the real number's somewhere around in the 30s.
Was that not what you're supposed to do, round up?
Not 3 or 4 digits, like in the 10 category higher.
Well, that's why my ex-wife was disappointed then.
I opened the show this week with a hey everybody because we tried 3 times to cut this intro, and for some reason I couldn't do the trademark hello everyone and welcome once again to P3 Radio. It came out as hello stroke perfect flanaculum. Does everything taste like purple to you? I don't. It just wasn't coming out, so I was just like, screw it. I'm not listening to our intro again.
Everything
Hey,
got a blue tint to you when you see it.
tastes
Or
like copper almost, you know.
kind of like some kind of tinfoil or something.
Can you see out of your left eye, or is it all just blood red? Does it look weird? Well, hey everybody, how's it going?
Why does
Hopefully-
everything look like Dr. Katz?
Hopefully, we ain't hitting a nerve there with you or your loved ones, or
If you've had a stroke, I'm sorry, but
yeah.
you got to make light of everything except
Well-
for a few things.
Well, that brings me back to us talking about prescription drugs, and I don't know if we've
ever remember us talking about.
No, we
prescription
have.
drugs.
We've talked about it before, and it's a bit that's been overdone by comedians and people from radio, television, whatever. It's the side effects of may cause paranoia and schizophrenics, may have problems with allergies or constant diarrhea.
Or something that's supposed to
yeah.
reduce the cravings of smoking
Yeah.
may make you want to smoke more.
Right. Part of the anti-depression drug gives you suicidal thoughts.
Right.
It's like, why?
Makes sense.
Yeah. But no, I mean, we've talked about it before. I don't know if we covered it on the radio. Did we talk about, I don't remember what the drug was called, but did we talk about it?
Xarelto.
Yeah. Is
Have
that what it
you
was?
or your loved one taken Xarelto?
Have you or a loved one taken Xarelto in the past? Have you thought about taking Xarelto? Well, a class action lawsuit has now come out. Xarelto has made kids grow men.
No. That's Risperdal.
Risperdal. What was Xarelto then?
Xarelto's the one that it's kind of. I think it's like some kind of depression pill or something.
Ah.
Risperdal is for, I think, like autistic people. It's like an antipsychotic drug.
Oh, okay.
No, that's what it's classified as, I believe.
No, I was laughing because the commercial was basically Risperdal. Risperdal has been known to grow female breasts in men. It's like, what? And they show these little pictures of these young boys just
Looking all
sad.
eh.
Yeah, like sad, like, oh God, I got to carry my books over my chest now. And it's like, where was that warning when I was a kid for like Totino's pizza and chocolate? Because I definitely had female breast as a kid. Right. It's like, Jesus. Oh, man. This
You
is
were a
not
hit
good.
at spring break.
Yeah.
1997.
I won 4 wet t-shirt contests in a row there. I mean, if that didn't, why didn't that have a warning on it? Why didn't, jog more, fatty? Somebody say that to me. But
Well, you had role models like Summer Sanders. You should have just got with the program and did the right thing. But
yeah, I mean,
pizza
but-
rolls are MFer.
yeah, pizza rolls were really good. So was like all the Southern food we used to eat.
God almighty.
And-
The homemade fried chicken, it's on another level.
Remember sugar toast?
Oh, my God, yes.
It's just, what could
That
go
is so
wrong with all
unhealthy.
those carbs and bread? And it was basically bread that was toasted in the oven with little swashes of butter on it. And the butter would melt into the bread. Well, on top of that, they would pour granulated sugar.
Well, brown sugar is what my grandma used.
Well, they
but-
always use just regular
Oh.
sugar. And then sometimes they'd use cinnamon, make cinnamon toast.
Yeah.
And then sometimes my mom would mix the chocolate in with sugar, cocoa in with sugar, and
I
make
remember
chocolate
that.
toast.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
That
I
was
mean, it
good.
was so unhealthy. Give me another slice of that. I've already
But I-
had 9.
But I think like the way that our Southern parents were, and grandparents, they always were aiming to please opposed to, what's healthy or whatever. It was about us being happy.
Well, you had to fight off, you had to fatten kids up back then because they might not make it through the winter. I mean, let's be honest. There wasn't vaccinations weren't at the highest point of popularity back then, or they just weren't really a thing. So, you thought, well, maybe if I get him fat, he'll have a chance, So we don't know anything about eating right, and it didn't come good from our family members. They're just like, here, eat it. It'll keep you alive. But it might clog my arteries and I'll die at 40. Well, everybody
Worry
else has
about
been
it when
dying at
you're
20.
39.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody else has been dying at 20. So you want to make it to 40, you eat this steak. And it ain't even been cooked right. It's got grease all over it. You cooked it with lard and breaded it. I don't like it.
Freaking breaded steak.
Well, you got to pour it in the buttermilk and eggs, and you dip it in this flour.
And we're talking about prime rib. Hell yeah. Make it good.
You know what? That does kind of sound good.
Oh, yeah. Fried prime
Breaded-
rib.
A breaded steak. I don't know. We might need to shut this off and go try that out and see if it's
We
any
got to
good.
go to
can make
Kroger
money.
right now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for another edition of P3 Radio.
Yeah, we got to go to Kroger because the other 2 grocery stores in our neighborhood doesn't sell steak or breading. So,
Look, I want to go to Kroger, okay?
well, you're trying to get a Kroger sponsorship, huh?
No. Wink, wink. Come on, Kroger. You got an app. You got everything.
Come on,
Get
Piggly
board with
Wiggly.
us.
You ain't out of
You
this
got
race yet
one
either.
store in a 100-mile radius.
But no, we
Man,
got
we got a shitty podcast that 12 people listen to.
your phone has been on talk to text for the past 5 minutes.
I've got 3% battery.
Yeah, good job. All right, well, we're going to bring you a new sponsor this week. Well, it might be new by the time you get to it. By the time we start playing it, this might not be new anymore. We're going to bring you to our next sponsor. I'll tell you what. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Score Big is the leading online marketplace for tickets to sports, concerts, theater, and family events.
Score Big allows you to purchase last-minute tickets to sold-out events. Also, the latest on sales of popular artists, teams, and productions. They'll get you in.
They safeguard your transaction with a 100% money-back guarantee under a secure checkout with interactive seat maps to guide your purchase.
And whether it's an Atlanta Braves game, Metallica concert, or a WWE event, they've got you covered.
Book your seats now at tinyurl.com/P3events.
That's tinyurl.com/P3events.
Welcome back to more P3 Radio. For some reason, this song's been stuck in our head for the last 20 minutes. Now it's probably going to be stuck in your head. Here's Delight. I'd love to do this. Like, play radio. You dropped your phone.
Damn it.
Well, welcome back to P3 Radio. I just can't stop listening to this song. This was 1990. This Groove is in the Heart by Delight.
I love it.
You know the first time I ever saw this was on Beavis and Butthead?
Me too.
Really?
Because I didn't do acid.
Or are you saying that they had a huge acid following?
Look at the front cover.
It's
You're
a little
telling
odd.
me nothing's going on there?
It's just 3 people riding what appears to be butterfly, dragonfly type things.
Who also look to be on acid.
It could just be a colorful picture.
How many dragonflies do you know that have a greenish type smirk on their faces?
I don't know too many dragonflies, to be honest with you.
Okay. Well, touche.
We need to say probably what's going to be about a 3-week late apology here. We had a Facebook Live show pretty recently, and we opened up the phone lines, and we just thought, hey, nobody's calling, right? Well, turns out when I checked, we had like 13 missed calls in that 1 hour. And a buddy of mine was like, hey, I've been trying to call you for about like 30 minutes yesterday. I tried and couldn't get through. Don't know what's going on, but your phone lines weren't working. So for some reason, our phone lines weren't up and going yesterday.
2 days ago.
3 weeks by the time this plays. But this is our first week without guests, like we said. So,
Well, I feel like I'm on vacation because I'm not having to prepare for anything. And don't get me wrong, I love having guests and all that, but it's a different kind of feel whenever it's just us shooting the shit. You know, I like it. It's kind of like I've said before, it's kind of like therapy to me.
it also helps if we have something to talk about, though. So, but that's the problem. It's like when we don't have guests, it's like, all right, we've got all these topics, and by the time I get to them, and they're like 14, 20 minutes old. Some of them, not 14, 20 minutes, 14 to 20 days old. And I'm like, well, shoot, I don't even know if this is relevant anymore. I mean, should we talk about the moon landing? I don't know. I mean, why would we talk about that now?
Well, the supposed moon
Oh,
landing.
Jesus. You one of those people?
No, I'm just saying
right.
that's hip to say. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there, but, you know.
Well, no, I mean, it was way before you were born.
Gulf of Tonkin incident happened, so, I mean, anything is possible, right?
I guess. We don't do political talk, really, though. I mean,
I'm just saying it's unclassified. Anyone
is?
can see it.
it's declassified.
Unclassified, it's all the same. D-un.
It's all been done. Woo-hoo-hoo. That's a band that, you know, they have some very, like, telltale songs. Like, you don't have to hear much. Like I heard this guy talking. He's like, all you have to hear is "It's been," and you know it's, and you know, yeah, you'll sing along. You just walk up to somebody and go, "It's been," you know, it's very distinct. Now,
Shut your eyes and call me my cousin Charlie. What? I have no idea what he says in that.
It sounds like you had
But
a
there's
repressed
been
memory
literally
pop up
about
right there.
30 movies with that song in it.
You have like a Freudian slip there, a little repressed memory. Shut your eyes and call me your cousin Charlie.
Well, I don't know. I mean, is that not what he says?
You want me to say it again with stubble in the back of your neck? See what happens. See if you start swinging. I want a Nintendo. Get off me, step uncle. Oh, and right back there, huh?
That's what it always reverts to, right?
Sadly, I don't know why.
Hell, it's funny. Why not?
Well, I mean,
It's not like it, you know, something that it's just something
you want to say
funny
that on the mic? There you go.
Something funny to talk about, you know. I mean,
until you break down crying one day.
To your therapist.
Only 10. Oh, Jesus.
I never even had a step uncle. Turns out he was just coming through the back door.
You know step uncles aren't real, right? Like your therapist has had enough. Listen, you little
my
piece of
step uncle came in riding on a unicorn.
It's like, you know, step uncles aren't a real thing. Dude, I don't know what it is. I cannot talk tonight. Like, like I said, I might be having a stroke.
Bless your heart. I mean, like, what? How do you know? As far, I mean, like, like you say, do you feel purple or
do you feel purple? You look a little peakish. What is peakish? I know we talked about old Southern
I think
words
that means
before.
drunk because, like, your cheeks look a little red. That's just all the Jack Daniels I've been drinking, Bob. Don't worry.
Oh, you don't worry your pretty little head. I'll be there for Christmas. I'll drive myself. I don't care.
No, I got caught driving again. By next Christmas, I'll be home.
Well, that kind of kind of pushes us into our topic that we were going to talk about. You know, I think every kid has tried to do it at one point or another. It was the old sneaking out of the house type thing.
Look, I've only got it stuck in a Gatorade bottle 12 times. Okay?
I just kept pushing in on the bottle and it suck it in further.
Look, yeah, I did not know about suction and whatnot at that age. Okay?
It was
Step
so
uncle.
embarrassing
What?
to call the fire department.
Try having to call your granddad and ask him to borrow the hacksaw.
What's wrong with your pants there, Pancho?
What you got a big old bottle sticking out of there for? Can I borrow your freaking hacksaw? Like, without you?
It's, you know, it's always one of those things when kids say something like, hey, can you hand me that and go out of here, please? It's like, you know, something has went down, something funny.
Did you ever get grounded to where you couldn't...
Well, I couldn't really do much anyways.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, like, you know, all right, nobody's coming over. You're staying inside. You're not watching TV or, you know, whatever. I mean, you never really had that happen?
Not really. I mean, I got my TV taken away a couple times because of grades or something. Or,
Yeah.
like, my mom was very stickler about you don't go to school, you don't see your friends, really. You know, and she caved on that a couple times where y'all could come over. I just couldn't go outside or something like that. You know, okay, well, then I guess I'll stay inside. And then it's just me begging y'all to stay on house arrest with me. Just stay inside, please. Just for a minute, just for a moment, I swear. But did you have... I'm asking you in particular, did you have any times where you snuck out or that you can remember sneaking away somewhere or trying to get out of being at home?
I remember, you know, one incident in particular. It wasn't that I was trying to be sneaky, even though I was trying to take routes where I thought maybe nobody in my family or anybody that knew me would see me. But as you know, I started a relationship when I was almost 16.
Right.
With my first, she became my first wife. My first wife. But we got together. I was 15. She was 13. Well, when it came time for her to start learning to drive or getting prepared, I was already driving. I had a license, you know. I'd already surpassed all that. She's maybe going on 15. We decide maybe you could teach me to drive. You got an automatic. Your car drives good. Just teach me. Everything will be fine.
Right.
And so the story goes. I say, okay, we're over there by my house on the other side of the mill on 5th Street and all those streets. And I said, okay, I'll get out. You can get the driver's seat, and I'll just coach you along. So we're driving, you know, whatever, maybe 2 minutes in, boom, she plows into a curve. I was like, oh, God, okay, reset. Let's try to do it again. You know, you really need to watch where you're going. So she gets to going good. We're driving down the road. We're just cruising through Bemis. She's doing great. For some odd reason, she turns down North Massachusetts Street. It is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And as you know, my grandparents were front porch drillers. You know,
Yes.
always on the front porch. And 4 o'clock was prime time for other relatives to be over there.
Right.
She drives down North Massachusetts. We pass by my grandmother's house, look over, and I'm looking away, like that's going to do anything. We've got my grandma, my grandpa, my mother, my aunt, everybody who is on that porch, who shouldn't be on that porch, is on there. So we see him. I wave. I don't know what else to do. Got a 14-year-old driving a car. My car. You know, I'm 16 or whatever. I shouldn't be letting her do it. So we just go to the mall. We're like, screw it. Let's just go to the mall.
Already in trouble.
Yeah, already in trouble, whatever. We go to the mall. We're there. No cell phones. You know, it's before cell phones and all that. So we go to the mall, and we're maybe there for 30 minutes. A page goes off in the mall. I mean, How many times have you heard a page go off over the mall where everybody can hear it?
Not a lot, no.
Maybe 2-3 times probably, right?
Right. I wouldn't even know what it would be.
Right. Well, there was one going on that day. So it says, please come to, I forget, it was kind of like the center of the mall where they had an information desk. So we get the page. I hear my name over the loudspeaker in the Old Hickory Mall. I said, oh, my God. We go to the center information desk of the mall. My mother, who at the time had to carry an oxygen tank. She had she had pneumonia maybe 3 times in a row. It was a issue with her lungs, whatever. She wasn't even supposed to be out of the house. She got my girlfriend at the time's mother to drive her to the mall to confront me and tell me to get my ass home, and my life was over. You know, that was it. It's done. You know,
How did she know you were at the mall?
I have no idea.
What store were you in? You were like, I'm going to put down this
More than
Spencer's
likely,
Gift toy.
Camelot.
Yeah.
More than likely, I was at the CD store, and you hear that, and it's, oh, my God. I have no idea. To this day, I don't know how she knew I was at the mall.
Right.
But it was a great guess, and it was over.
I bet he's at the mall. Yep.
She had the oxygen tank, the nose plugger thing, you know. For the whole gimmick, man. And she's standing there in the middle of the mall, and she cuts the best promo I have ever heard in person be cut on somebody to me and my girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
Because she shouldn't have been driving.
Yeah.
No matter what the fuck I said, you know. And cut the promo. My girlfriend's mother, she's just sitting there shaking her head like, I can't believe this. Why would y'all do this? And we leave the mall. I drive back. You know, I don't know why she let me drive the car. I drive back, and that was the end of my life for a while.
You didn't get to go anywhere or do anything? Is that what you mean?
Absolutely not. I was in
Right.
homeschool, too, so I'm not even leaving the house.
I don't even remember. Well, I guess that was kind of in a point of time when we wasn't really hanging out that much.
We talked all the time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like I was over at your house every day.
Right.
You know?
I guess, I don't really have a lot of stories where I snuck off. Like, other than the fact that, we would sneak out of the house, and just do stupid things like catch leaves on fire, like a couple of leaves. We're not talking about like a
We've
major.
already talked about
Yeah.
our obsession with fire.
Yeah, and just sneaking out. And stuff. I guess the only sneak out type story that I can think of would be the time that I snuck out. And I didn't really sneak out of the house per se. I just kind of, all right, we're leaving the mall. And my mom didn't really let me ride with anybody. I was in high school. I was probably like 15, 16 years old, and Mullins had his license.
Yeah.
And Mullins had, I think it was Gant, me, and I don't remember who else was with us. Maybe Chris Peterson. But we were all riding, and Mom's like, okay, you can ride with Chris Peterson, but you can ride with Mullins, but y'all need to go straight home. I was like, yeah, that's all we're doing is me and Mullins is going to drive me home. She's like, okay. So I go back to them. They're like hanging out by Chick-fil-A, and I didn't know Gant was coming. I didn't know Gant, and I didn't know Peterson. I knew Peterson was coming, but to make a long story short, we find out that we're going to drop Gant off at the Strip on our way home. When I say the Strip, we're talking about it was like 3 blocks up from where we were going. We would go 3 blocks north, drop this kid off, and come home. And I knew, I was like, okay, I'm not supposed to do that. But what am I going to do?
Supposed to cruise the Strip.
Right. I mean, I'm not supposed to go. But what am I going to do at this point? My mom and my stepdad had already left the mall. We don't have cell phones in this day and age. And in my mind, I was like, well, all right, well, I have no choice. I either have to wait here for them to get home, call them and say, hey, can you come back and pick me up? Which it's a good 15, 20-minute trip. Either that or I'm just going to have to ride the 3 blocks north and then ride the rest of the way back home. So I get in the car. I'm like, all right, well, I guess we're doing this. We drop Gant off and we get back home. And my mom's just sitting there looking like mad. Like, where have y'all been? I was like, we just drove home. And then, like, she tells me that she followed us. Like,
Oh my God.
yeah, like she thought something might be up, so she followed us. And in my mind, I'm thinking, what was I supposed to do? But in my mind, I'm like, I'm in so much trouble. I just better deny. And I'm like, no. She's like, I followed y'all up to this certain street, and then we lost y'all, and we couldn't find you again. I was like, no, that wasn't us. we just left 10 minutes ago.
The thing about Mullen's car,
It was very distinct.
that's the thing. Dude, it's not a white Nissan Altima. We're talking about a cream colored, like 1979 POS. I mean,
Right.
it's the only one. I'm sorry, Mullins, if you're listening, but it's the only one. It was like the Dodge Aspen's
Oh, it
brother.
was a tank. It was a tank, man.
Yeah. It saved,
But
saved y'all's lives.
we'll get to that in just a second. But to that point, I don't think I've ever told my mom this, so if she's listening now, she knows the story. Because I was just like, it wasn't us. And finally, I think she like might have gotten the belt and popped me with it a couple times and told me not to lie to her. And I'm like, I'm not lying. Totally lying. But here's the thing. I was caught in between a rock and a hard place here because initially we weren't going that way. We were just going to go straight home. So initially that was the plan. I didn't have this planned where I was going to go, hey, it wasn't malicious. It wasn't like I was saying, hey, I'm going to sneak out and tell my mom I'm going to go one place, but we're going to go the other place. I had every intention of just getting in the car and riding home with Mullins, who lives next door to me.
It was Gant that threw the kink in the chain.
Yeah, Gant coming along going, hey, I need a ride. Can y'all drop me off? And him going, yeah, sure. Of course, he's 16, 17 years old. He's going to say yeah because it's, that's what you do. You take buddies home. So, yeah, I mean, so what could I have done if I would have went to my mom and said, hey, yeah, we were going to go straight home, but they had to drop somebody off again. And she wouldn't have bought that. She would have thought I was lying about that. So what do? You just deny. Finally, I don't think she had enough evidence because she lost track of us where we were that she,
My GPS cut out.
yeah, if the
It was
glove,
the 90s.
yeah, if the glove don't fit, you must have quit. So that was the thing, and I don't think I ever told her that. But yeah, man, that car was very distinct, and it was like I don't even remember what it was called, but dude, it was a tank, like you said. Because all right, so there was this time, I don't know if we ever talked about this. We were driving to school one morning, and the thing, like all older cars, like I had a car called the Dodge Aspen, we called it the DA. Like all older cars, they just didn't have a good defrost system. And if you were running late, you were just going to be late because there was no way you were going to make up time if your windows were frosted. So we get into the car this morning, and it's like we get in, and I take one breath, and it's like, and the windows are completely fogged, and there's frost on them, and he's running the windshield wipers 30 miles per hour, and he's hitting the wipers, the fluid. He's hitting the fluid to make the fluid hit him, and it clears up for a second and then freezes right back. So we get to this point where there's a stop sign in the road, and we're stopped, and all of a sudden, Chris just goes, and I see this car coming around this corner, and I'm like, what's Chris doing? Does he think he can? And I had an open, I didn't have like a Coke can. I had a tumbler, a blue tumbler, like a plastic tumbler full of Mountain Dew or something like that, and it just went all over me. And the first thing Chris says is he's like, he didn't have his lights on. And I go, Chris, you hit him in the side. He clipped his back fender. Chris just could not see. And it was really cold out, and I was dusting myself off. And for some reason, we had friends that were sitting in the parking lot next door, so they saw all of it, and they were kind of getting together to see if we were okay. And they said Chris got out of the car. Now, Chris at the time was like 160 pounds, maybe. He's about 5'8" to 5'10", somewhere in there at the time. And they said Chris gets out. Well, this little Nissan type bug type thing that he hit was just totaled. It bent the back axle. It knocked out Chris's blinker bulb, but it bent.
It caused $2 worth of damage to his car and $780.
Chris is like,
to the
yeah,
other.
you know how many junkyards I'm gonna have to go to try to find the cover for this blinker bulb? No, I mean that was it. It just knocked out his blinker bulb. Well, the guy's like car, like I remember he was trying to pull it to the side of the road, but it was like weeble wobbling, like in a backwards donut type way. Like he definitely did some damage to the wheel. So
It was more than likely totaled. is what
yeah,
you're saying.
probably. I mean, it wasn't a good car. So the guy, imagine this guy. He's got a jean vest on, a denim vest on, with his Harley Davidson type shirt
Now,
on underneath.
let's just backpedal for a
Yes.
second. Were you in the least bit kind of skittish that this guy was going to try to kick y'all's ass?
No, I honestly, according to the car, I thought we had hit like an older woman because it wasn't. I know it's 2018 and
old
those
lady-ish,
stereotypes.
you know?
Yeah, it was a very old lady type car. It's like, oh God, we just broke some old woman's hip. So, but I'm sitting there and I didn't even know it. But our friends next door that were sitting in the parking lot, they were about to come check on us. They said when Chris got out of the car, because our windows were frosted, he thought that was the only one in the vehicle. And the guy, I mean, he was probably about 5'7", stocky guy. They said that, he gets out of the car, he's got a bandana on, a beard. So when he saw Chris gets out of the car, he throws his hands up like he's pissed off, like he's fixing to do some damage or something. And they said it was the funniest thing because at the time, I was every bit of 6'3" at the time, maybe pushing 6'4". I've shrunk a little bit since then, but I was almost 6'4". I was 290 pounds, and I was just a big kid. And if you didn't know me, I look a little bit more threatening than I actually am because everybody knows I'm like a teddy bear. But they said he went from having his hands up in the air like, What's your deal, man? And they said, you stepped out of the passenger seat and stood up. And he just drops his hand and goes, y'all okay? And
Y'all all right in
y'all
there?
all right? Was y'all wearing y'all seatbelt? You okay? My car's pretty messed up over here. But no, I mean, I remember that. It just totaled that little, it was like it wasn't even, I don't even remember if it was painted. It was just like a gray metal color. And it was just an older vehicle, and he hit it, and it just destroyed the thing.
Like a dandelion in the wind.
Did you have a lot of wrecks when you were growing up?
I was involved in maybe 2 or 3, before my first wreck
Right.
of my own. But a school bus was my first wreck ever. You were
Right. Yeah,
involved in that one too.
Yeah, and it's funny when you have a wreck in a bus and somebody hits a bus and it's not like a train, it's just a smaller vehicle.
Yeah.
Because I remember when they hit it, I thought, is somebody throwing eggs at the back of our vehicle?
And the guy that was sitting in the back with me, he played it like he was, an older gentleman because he was like, oh, my back's hurting. And he got his mother to come pick him up as soon as he got to school.
Right.
I mean, and, more than likely his back wasn't hurting at all. He just knew, hey, I've been in a wreck. Here's an excuse,
Right. Well, we had such a long bus ride anyways.
That was god awful. It was every bit of over an hour long.
Yeah, and it was an hour long ride back, and I mean it was just sad how long that bus ride was. But I remember you would. Speaking of car rashes, almost a car diaper rash, more like it. Because that was the reason I think that I stopped liking breakfast, because I would not want to eat breakfast. Because by the time you had that hour and some odd minute long bus ride every morning, you'd have to take a dump. And
You're not a school dumper.
No, it's not even that. Even if I wanted to be a school dumper, I couldn't be because I'm on the bus for an hour and probably 10 minutes. So 70 minutes on a bus, you're going to probably crap your pants. There's no way around it.
Do you know what's weird about that whole time period? Like just on the Mr. Taylor's bus. You're in 3rd grade, I'm in 5th or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't remember sitting with you ever. I don't remember hanging out with you on the bus. I have no memories.
Well, it was just that 1 year. Then I had 2 more years by myself.
Well, I know, but I'm saying I remember a lot of that year on the bus. I remember my first little girlfriend that was on the bus. I remember, how you got bus buddies. You don't
Right.
you don't hang out with them anywhere but the bus. But that was it. I don't remember you at all on the bus. Like you might as well not even rode the bus.
Yeah, I mean, you just had 1 year of it. I had 3. 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade year, dude. And I got sick 1 year on the bus. And I tell you what it was. I was coming home from we were coming home from school, and I had ate some kind of barbecue sandwich that they had.
Yeah.
And barbecue sandwich is a very loose term when it comes to school lunches.
It was barbecue type substance.
Yeah, it's like in a can.
Soy
It looks
additive.
more like it looks more like Mamwidge, but it's really like got BBQ on it in big black letters that are bold and Times New Roman font.
Government barbecue.
Yeah, made with real fake pork. But no, I mean it was just I ate it one day and I'm like, oh, this something ain't right here. And I made it through school, and everything. And my stomach was just like I don't feel right at all. Like we'd have gym class or we'd have PE, and I'd be like, I'm just gonna go sit over here on the monkey bars. I ain't doing jack today. And I remember we got on the bus, and like there was a few times that I was just laying my head, like nobody was sitting with me, and I was laying my head on the seat in front of me. And every bump, I'm just sitting there going, oh, I just want, no, not that. Just feeling like I was going to throw up. And I was just like, oh, God, I'm going to throw up. I'm going to throw up. Maybe I can hold it. So I got all the way to about 3 blocks from my house. And I'm sitting there. And I'm just like, all right, I think I'm going to be fine. I think I'm going to. The bus driver, like I've got barbecue remnants all over my shirt, my black shirt. The bus driver is freaking out. Like she's like, well, get off the bus. So I get off the bus covered in puke. Well, now I'm embarrassing because I'm standing out there in front of people in my neighborhood because I'm like 3 blocks away. And it couldn't be in a worse position because you're standing out there in front of all the kids your age in your neighborhood. Right. This isn't like from like a couple blocks down the road. This is like right in your neighbor. Like, yeah, this is a couple blocks in your road, down the road. This isn't from like 14 miles down the road where we were picking up the last kids.
This is where we play basketball.
Yeah, this is definitely where everybody knows my name. Richard got sick on the bus.
I can't go to the court for like a year now.
So I'm standing out there. I've got fake barbecue dripping off my fingertips, and I'm just sitting there going, oh, this is bad. I feel sick, and I still feel really sick. And finally she's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. So I get back on the bus. She takes her foot off the brake, and I hurl barbecue remnants. I didn't eat but one sandwich.
And you threw up like 3.
I threw up like 9 sandwiches. It's like maybe this was some kind of government experiment, like pork or whatever. But I remember she took her foot off the brake, and as soon as she put the sign down that said stop and let her foot off the brake, it was like she's like, oh God,
I should have made your fat ass walk home.
I'm gonna have to clean this bus. So
and they do have to clean the bus.
Yeah,
they don't have.
We're
people
talking like
cleaning
this
them.
is like 4:15.
Right.
Like, days should have been over. School ended an hour ago.
But she every bit has stayed for 5:30 that day.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, man, I just remember that. So she made me get back off the bus, and I think she got some trash bags or something that was sitting there, and she kind of put them on the seat. And she's like, "You just sit here, don't go any further on the bus." I was like, "Okay, I'm sorry. I just feel sick. I don't." And so she goes, and I made it home again without throwing up, but I had just puke all over me, and it was just sad. It's like in my shoes, I'm swishing up at the house. Squish, 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 squish. The next time I did not choose the barbecue sandwich option at school.
I didn't even know we had an option in elementary school.
Yeah, you had 2. It was like barbecue or pulled pork.
Wow.
Isn't that the same thing? Shut up.
I'm still not understanding why the bus driver like grandstanded you in front of everybody. It's like, you're throwing up. Get off the bus. Let everybody look at you.
I don't think her intent was to say, hey, get off the bus and embarrass yourself.
I understand what she's going for, but from your perception, it's like, hey, let me step out here and let everybody freaking stare at me.
Now, coming down the bus aisle, covered in puke, wearing his 2-tone shirt that makes it look like you're wearing 2 shirts, a black one and a blue one, but you only got one on because it's the style, it's the 90s. Here's Richard Mulligan covered in today's pulled pork sandwich.
Pulled pork additive.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I just, like I said, I just remember swearing to her because I was so embarrassed. I was not good. I was not good when I got off that bus, but I was so embarrassed to be standing there and having parents look at you like, oh, God, is he going to get my kids sick? That kind of, that kind of thought that went through their head. I just remember going, I'm fine. Can I come back on the bus? They're, okay.
That boy looks a little picked.
He looks a little picked. Picked like fence? Yes, picked.
That boy looks a little picked.
More like, because I was at the time, I was probably like 5'8", all of 220 pounds. So that fat bus attendant got sick, didn't he? I think that boyish fat
that
male
student
assistant.
teacher, that student teacher, he's really hurling. He's probably been drinking on lunch.
They gonna have to drug test that fat assistant. I really think he has an alcohol problem. He ain't the driver, is he? Good Lord!
I didn't even think they made Quaaludes anymore.
Oh man, I still remember it was the black shirt that I had on that had like a little teal, like it was a double cut shirt, so the collar looked like you had another shirt on under.
I remember them.
And
they were in style.
Yeah, they were the in
point.
style thing, and the sleeve looked like you had another shirt under it.
Right.
I just, oh man, it was like some dark denim jorts type thing. So I just remember, I'm good. Her foot off the brake, and it's get off the bus.
Why do you keep grandstanding me? What are you talking about grandstanding, honey?
Yeah,
You're
but
a bitch.
I mean, we meant to talk about car wreck stories there, but I mean, yeah, embarrassing stories are
That's
fun
better.
too.
That
yeah,
was better than anything we had.
I mean, my cousin has a great story about like when she was riding with my aunt one day, and
Angie?
No, my cousin
Christy?
Christy. Yeah, and I think Angie was with them, but
You must
apparently
be talking about Aunt Wanda.
no, my aunt Connie.
Well, God, I got all the aunts,
Yeah.
the cousins, everybody
it's,
mixed up.
You know, it isn't. It's relevant
There's like
to the podcast.
40
they don't
of
care.
you, so-
I could just say my aunt, and you could be, oh yeah, your aunt. Okay,
Oh,
go
one
ahead.
of the 40.
Yeah. So, anyways, apparently my cousin was telling. You don't have to have all the details here, do you? It was a warm June day. They were in a green
I'm
car.
just trying to spice up the conversation.
You don't have
but
to. I can
yeah,
tell the
my
story.
aunt and my cousin, they were
Yeah.
just in a car.
Yeah, I was going to get to the main point of the story.
I was
What
just
color was the
wondering,
car? Was
man.
any of them chewing gum?
Damn
No.
me for engaging.
All right. So let me tell the story. Stop trying to derail my story. They said they were coming home. They were driving home from somewhere. My aunt had my cousin. My mom was with her. And I think her two boys were with them. And they said they were driving and they hit a rabbit, like a furry rabbit. And she was like, well, we were broke. We didn't have any money. We turned around and I got it. She's like, I hit it. It's dead. Might as well eat it. So she's like, they grabbed the rabbit and threw it in the floorboard in the back seat. And like the girls were all like, it's still moving. It's like, no, it's dead. I was like, oh God. If I had that little button, I'd hit it. It would be like, if that ain't country. I might have to sound drop somewhere, but yeah. But I mean, I never had one of those,
That
oh my
is
God,
like-
we're going to die car wrecks.
That is so super hillbilly.
Oh, yeah.
That's like,
But I mean, it makes sense. Like if you're broke and you're just like, you're just trying to survive, that
I'm
makes
with
total
you.
sense,
That's old
but-
school Bemis. That's totally, dude. My dad has told me stories about like this old guy when he was a kid.
We
Like,
beat him to death. in the
No,
80s.
people were so broke
Yeah.
in Bemis that he would literally, like, I don't know how he killed them, but blackbirds. Just
No, it's just the way you said. I don't know how he killed him.
well,
but
I mean,
I didn't-
obviously he's
I
not
didn't know
out
what
there
you were
with
talking
a damn
about.
12 gauge.
No, like not blackbirds, but I mean, like before you said the word blackbirds, you were like, I don't know how he killed him.
Yeah,
I was like,
but-
good Lord, what did he kill?
Blackbirds, the piss ants of the birds, right?
Yeah, you got like 40 of them in the morning. That's
And
like,
this guy, he would make blackbird pie. He would
Ugh.
make like pies, with instead of adding apples or peach, he would add blackbird meat. I mean, it's God Almighty. And yes, he would have blackbird pie. That's what my dad called it.
How much meat would you get from a blackbird?
I don't know, but if you got a shotgun spraying them, wouldn't it be hell?
I mean, it would probably destroy whatever meat. You'd have to use like a pellet or a BB gun.
I don't know how he would do it, but they said that guy blackbird pie.
He'd wait for one of them to land and try to hit it with like a brick or something.
He might have like an old school net
box,
that he would just like
a
box 'em
butterfly
in.
net. There goes Ned. He's trying to catch blackbirds again. He got about 4 of them in that net the other day. They picked him up off the ground.
I don't know why you just don't go to the mill and get a job like everybody else in the neighborhood's got.
He just refuses. He'd rather
He's
eat
just
those
gonna
damn
kill squirrels
blackbirds.
and blackbirds in his front yard.
He
and
gonna get caught and get his 12 gauge taken away. Those are protected animals. Those squirrels.
Look, I swear, we were cleaning out my grandma's house last weekend, and I found a bunch of like old from the 70s, like Sears catalogs and whatnot.
Yeah.
And my mom and my dad, they're both standing out there. We're just taking boxes out of the house and whatnot. And I got the box full of the Sears catalogs.
Blackbird pie.
I set it down on wherever I'm sitting it, and my mom and dad, they're looking at me, and I said, "Hey, look at these old books I found. You know, old Sears catalogs. I think they're worth money." And my dad's like, "You know, they used to use that as shit paper, right?" I said, "What?" And my mom starts shaking her head. "Yep, he ain't lying. They used to set them out in the outhouses before we had, you know, plumbing indoors in whatever houses we were at, and that's what you used to wipe your butt." I was like, "Oh my God, it was that horrible back in the day." We're lucky.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, seriously, when you think about it, have you ever wiped your ass with a magazine?
No, and you imagine how hard of a crap you would take after eating all that blackbird pie.
Oh my God, I bet it have beaks and everything in it.
Blackbird pie shits.
Might be a little bit of bird flu in there. Maybe that's why everybody died when they were like 27 back then. It wasn't because we hadn't advanced it medically or
Yeah.
medicine-wise. It was just everybody was eating blackbirds and freaking squirrels and shit.
Dude.
Rabies and whatnot.
I remember there was one time, like, they used to kill squirrels in our neighborhood and in our family too,
Yeah.
and they'd kill them and they'd freeze them. And I remember one time I was trying to get some ice cream from the deep freeze, and I opened up the deep freeze and I just see this bag with like this little thing with no skin on it. Just
Freaking eye.
it was like
eye
squirrel.
sockets or whatnot.
Yeah, no, it had eyes. It was just like frozen. It was like,
Right.
oh Jesus! I jumped back, like hit the wall. I was like, oh God, what was that?
You have no idea how many like skint raccoons that I've moved out of the way to get to my frozen TV dinners. Like, you have no idea.
That needs to go into the intro, by the way.
There you go.
Josh Brawley, you have no idea how many skint coons I have pulled out of the way to get to
I'm
my
with
frozen.
it, man. I'm with it.
Blackbird pie.
You know my dad. He's telling the absolute truth. You know.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night.
Please don't get me in, make me fry.
Earl's gonna get him and put him in the pie. Oh,
We should
Jesus.
just go get a job at the mill. Quit killing all them wild
No,
animals.
good Lord's gonna provide. As long as
mean-
I got BBs and an abundance of blackbirds and frozen Celeste pie crust.
So you want me to spend 1/7 of my paycheck for food, right? Crazy as hell. You see all them birds out there in that front yard?
I was like, he didn't even defeather that last one. I think he's really losing his mind over this. Now you use the feathers, you put them in your pillows.
Oh, it's got proteins in it.
like
it's
some kind of
healthy.
weird like hillbilly tradition. You take the feathers and you stick them in your chimney. And it's like,
That keeps all the bad dreams and bad entities away.
and you're going to have some bad dreams because those birds, they give you some hallucinations. Oh, gee. Blackbird pie.
That's true.
No, Earl, I said blackberry pie.
Blackberry pie.
Oh, well, color me red. But these are good. Try 'em. He needs to go get a job.
Damn, that is good, Red. That's real good.
Needs
I'm
to
gonna
go
quit
get
my job tomorrow. I got 100 of them motherfuckers in the front yard every morning.
You just hear it's like, man, it's been real quiet around here lately. There's no birds around.
Red's sitting out on the front porch with a pellet gun again. He's looking a little peaked.
Yeah, he's like, it used to be blackbirds. Now he's just shooting robins and quail and whatever just happens to flutter through his yard. That hummingbird, man, I ain't much meat on those. But I got
He's got
this
like
feeder.
hummingbird skewers and shit.
He's the only one with like 9 bird feeders in his front yard. Like 8 bird baths. Come on, birdies.
You got a bird call, like a bird identifier and shit. Like,
That's a swallow.
I heard their meat's real tender. I'm gonna pump this bitch up to 10.
He's out there doing mockingbird calls and shit. Oh shit, that's an owl. Whoo, whoo. That reminds me of a joke that I heard.
He's out there throwing dead mice that he's killed from his house, trying to draw owls in and shit. And my owls are big. It's like 2 days worth of meat.
I tell you what, it's not perfectly legal, but you get you some bald eagle. Those things do not go quietly into the good night. I clipped one. It almost clawed my arm off.
I'm going to tell you something, though. I heard that you take her talons and grind them down, put that shit in medicine, and it'll keep you healthy for 2 years. Some old wives.
That's what they don't want you to know. And you take some of their beak and rub it on your Johnson, and ooh, it never goes soft. You can cut diamonds with that thing.
Some of that old bald eagle beak. You won't hear that on Love Line.
Old redneck remedies. You got stung by that wasp? Here, take some of that chewing tobacco and put on it.
I swear to God, that's happened to me. I swear to God, that's happened to me. And at the time, I'm like 4 years old, and he's like, "Here, take this," and he reaches in his mouth, and he's like, "Put that on it." And why? That's gross.
I remember the first time I had a splinter. I swear to you, I vaguely remember my grandfather giving me like a popsicle stick and saying, "Bite down on this. It's going to hurt like hell." He didn't say hell, but...
Richard Lee, bite down on it.
When? Oh, you'll know when. Oh, man. Good times, man. Just good times. Okay.
Kids are pussies now. Do you know that?
Here's an embarrassing story for you, and we can talk about this. I want to do a Facebook Live thing here in a little bit, and we can talk about embarrassing stories again, and I'll tell this again. How many porch swings were you on that fell? I'll tell you what, we'll leave that as a teaser. We'll come right back after this commercial break.
When you go shopping for wine, do you look at the labels? Do you stare at the price and wonder if the wine is worth the expensive tag? Well, stop it, because Wine of the Month Club has you covered. Every month, Wine of the Month Club is going to send you 2 bottles of high-quality wine right to your front door.
And what better way to say I'm thinking of you than a subscription to the original Wine of the Month Club for a friend or a sweetheart. Each month they'll be reminded of your thoughtfulness and will receive the monthly wine letter and newsletter binder. Recipes, wine knowledge, and great wine, and the opportunity to get more of their favorites is at hand. Give with confidence and joy, knowing that you're a part of the original Wine of the Month Club.
By the way, there are no dues, no fees, no hidden charges. Cancel anytime with no obligation. Just pay no more than $23.96 plus shipping for 2 great bottles of wine. Go there now. Sign up by visiting our link, tinyurl.com/P3wine. That's tinyurl.com/P3wine. The Wine of the Month Club, the original wine club since 1972.
He speaks fluent Klingon. Backwards. The best story he's ever told was to himself. Of the 2 women he slept with in his life, one fell asleep, the other thought he was someone else. Dogs take him for walks. He is the world's most semi-interesting man.
I don't often smoke, but when I do, I only choose Vista Vapors.
Visit them today at tinyurl.com/P3Vista.
Keep it flavorful, my friends.
Welcome back to more P3 Radio.
There's a little girl in our neighborhood. Her name is Charlotte.
the backyard rolling up a garden hose. I was on the porch with Sean and feeling up down to my toes, and we were swinging. Yes, we were swinging. Little Charlotte, she's as pretty as the angels when they sing. I can't believe I'm out here on her front porch in this swing, just a swinging.
Welcome back to P3 Radio. Josh Briley and Richard Mulliken here. And before the break, we were talking about porch swing stories. Josh, you ever been on a porch swing that fell?
I have.
Well, that's going to about do it for us. For Josh Briley, this is Richard Mulliken saying thanks and good night.